My name is Catherine Rosa. I'm here with Board Game Geek TV at Spiel 2014. I'm sitting here with Dennis Kurtz from Play This One, and he's here to talk about their new game, RoboRama. And he's also the designer behind the game.
Yes, I am, with my co-designer, Gerard Pearson.
Fantastic.
Thank you for having us, or me, but
pleasure.
representing Play This One and Gerard.
Our pleasure. Would you go into an overview of the game?
Yes. RoboRama, basic rule is that you have to cross your robots and make them arrive in the end zone, which is opposing your start zone.
So the opposite side.
Yes. So a lot of robots will meet in the middle if you are 4 players, but let me tell you, the game can be played 2 to 4 people.
Okay.
In order to move your robots, you use these movement cards, and you have to fulfill the exact amount of movements. So you're showing the number 1 card, which is 1 movement. So if I was to play that card, any of my robots could move 1 space, and he may not move diagonally.
May not move diagonally.
Not move diagonally. If a robot is blocking his path, he may not cross him.
No.
He may not jump over him in the basic rules. So if you were blocking my path, and if I wanted to play the number 1 card, I would have to move in any other direction. However, I may not at any time move back in my start zone because it represents the end zone of my opponent, and I am not allowed to block his end zone.
If you had been further out, though, you'd be able to move back.
I can move on the terrain, but I may never enter an opponent's end zone.
Okay.
However, I may go in and out of my end zone.
As much as you want.
If I needed to.
All right.
Okay? In the game, it may happen that the opponent player arrives in his end zone, which would trigger that you have to get out as soon as you can with your robots, even if it doesn't help your game.
Oh.
So make sure not to stay in here forever.
Because then you'll be forced to get out.
You will be forced to get out, and that will hurt your game. Because the core mechanism of the game is the following. And I'll get back to my starting example. Let's presume I wanted to play card number 3. So I deactivate card number 3, and I move my robot by 3.
That's this one here.
Okay, so you can leave it there. This is actually a nice example. Let's say everybody plays his turn, and it's up to me again. Card number 3 is deactivated. In order to get it back, I need to land one of my robots on any field showing a number 3. In order to do so, I could now play my number 1 card and move here, or I could play my number 2 card, moving here, etc.
And then your card would be reactivated.
And then I would, let's take this example. I deactivate number 1, I move by 1, and I gain this card back. So I have to manage my set of 6 cards throughout all the game. In case I cannot get that card back, it's lost. It stays deactivated for the rest of the game. Unless I can move one of my robots to a question mark. The question mark allows me to get back any deactivated card which I would not get back otherwise. Because during the game, you will have maybe 2 or 3 cards deactivated. Okay? And so the question mark helps me to choose one of them. The other special card is the chip card. Now, the chip card is like skipping your turn and having a look where your robot stands. Let's say I was standing twice on the number 3 and once on the number 4, just as an example, and once on number 5. And I wasn't able to reach any of these numbers by moving naturally over the board. I could decide to skip my turn, I play my chip card, and then I may choose from any robot sitting on a space and take back that card. So in this case, I could have only taken back the number 3 or 4 because none of my robots is sitting in a number 1 space.
I see, yeah.
It gives you just one more turn before you might get completely blocked. Because if in the game you get blocked, you lose and your robots are taken off the board and the others keep playing until somebody reaches the end. So that's the basic game, saying you may not jump over opponents, you may jump over your own. You have to observe the exact number of movements and you want to try to get back your cards
So that you can reuse them.
so you can reuse them. And this mechanism has a logo to it, and it's called Play It Back.
Play it back.
Because Play This One thought it was a neat mechanism, and they wanted somehow to protect the idea, and they created a logo just for that. And the idea behind it is maybe to have other games following the same basic mechanism. Now, in the more advanced version, we use not the basic side of the card games of the cards, but we use the advanced side. Why? Because I'll just gonna put this one here to show people. If I was to play my number one card as a special card, it would allow me only once in the whole game to move diagonally by one. Then I would flip this card and my special power is gone.
So basically the advanced version of the game gives you one special power per card.
Movement. And it is linked to the specific number of movements. Now, my number two special power is I may jump over one opponent.
And then flip it over.
It's gone.
Now it's just a number two.
Exactly. Number three is I may move in two directions instead of a straight line, and only once. So I could go 1, 2, 3, or I could go 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Making me go around an opponent. The card would be flipped and I cannot use that power anymore. Card number 4 says that I have to move 2 robots at a total of 4.
So you can move one.
1 and then 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
Or 1, 2 plus 1, 2.
Exactly.
And then it's flipped. And this card says, and that's the only card that allows you to move up to 4 spaces, because if I was here and I wanted to move in this direction, I would have to play my number 1 card, and I may not have it active. So this one allows me to go just 1 or 2 or 3 up to 4. It would be flipped and it becomes a normal 5 movement card. And last but not least is the question mark, which is the same than the normal question mark in the game.
Which lets you reactivate
one card, except that for this, I don't have to be on the question mark sign.
Exactly.
I don't have to land my robot here. So I just play this as a free move, but I don't move my robots. So that is the intermediate. We call it the family version for, you know, players that play maybe twice a month or not so often, but who like to play on a regular basis. It's slightly more advanced than the basic game, which just gives you the pure movement. And then comes in the Chaos Bot.
Oh, look at him.
For the geeks.
A little bit dangerous.
I'm going to put him like this so you can really zoom in on him and show how nasty he looks. Because what the Chaos Bot does is, at the beginning of the game, each player gets a random set of 3 cards, which he keeps secret from the other players. Those are also linked to the movement cards, which you play for your basic robots, and they do the following. I'll start with the easiest card. This card allows you, according to the movement number that you have played, to also move the Chaos Bot by that amount of numbers. So if I was to play my number 2, one of my robots move 1, 2, and then I could move the Chaos Bot 1, 2, wherever I want to move him.
And he would move in the same way that you move.
And he moves freely in every direction, but 2. Since I move mine 2, he moves 2.
Exactly.
If I want to move him 3, I would need to play my basic 3 movement. I would have to go 1, 2, 3, and he could go 1, 2, 3, for instance. So this is just moving the bot around, hindering your opponents, blocking spaces, and most of all, blocking the numbers where your opponents want to go, because all the game is transparent all the time. So at any moment in the game,
you can always see what your opponents need
is trying to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then we have mind control. Let's say Chaos Bot is in a sector. The game board is divided in 4 sectors, and the Chaos Bot is in the same sector than one of your opponents or your own robots. You may mind control one robot. Example, I play my number 1 card, I move my robot by 1, and then I can mind control somebody else's and move him by 1. Which can be annoying, because if you were trying to get on the number 1 field and I see that, I just make your robot move and then you don't get your card.
Exactly.
So that could be very annoying. Why Chaos Bot? Then we have the fist bump, or the bumping opponents. Again, if I was to play in this example, let's put it here, I was to play my number 3 card. Right? Let's set it up properly. So I play number 3. I move one of my robots by 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I may push one opponent by 3. 1, 2, 3, which can be very annoying.
Or 2 opponents by...
Or 2 opponents by 2, or 3 opponents by 1. So this is according to the number you play in your base game.
And so how many of these
There's
these
6 of
cards
them, so we're almost done. There's the reset card, which simply allows you to put him back in the starting zone, which can be helpful because he's in your way. And then we have the laser attack, which is a nice one, because, let me set up the game quickly. If I was to activate the laser attack number 1, he would shoot all the opponents which are in his shooting range.
Within 1.
Within 1, and they have to skip a turn.
Ah,
And you
so
cannot
next turn they would just...
stand up, and you could only use them the turn after that. Same here, he would shoot in 2 directions by 2, or in 1 plus 3, or in 1 direction by 4, shooting everybody in that row, up to 4. And last but not least, there's the power jump. Power jump says that you can jump on top of an opponent, pushing him aside and flipping him over, which can be really disturbing because you were maybe planning your move and it can hinder you moving, or at least it can deactivate your robot for a full round. So the closer you get to your goal, the nastier he gets because he starts pushing and bumping people around, or even laser chasing. So that's really the game. And
you said there were 6 of these, so they are
6?
only in a 2-player game then?
No, there are 6.
Each?
Sorry, I was not precise enough. There are 6 different ones, the ones I introduced.
But there's a whole bunch of
But
cards.
there's a whole bunch of them, and you get to shuffle them all, and then you get 3 random. So everybody has 3, and you never know when somebody is going to play them or not. So we hopefully appeal to children starting 7 up, playing the base game, appeal to families for the medium, and hopefully appeal to geeks for the Chaos Board version where you can create a lot of fuss.
And it was 2 to 4, and
It's a 2 to
how
4.
long?
It's about 10 to 15 minutes per player,
Okay.
depending on the depth of the game that you give to it. In the geek version, obviously, it takes longer
Of course,
because you have more moves
decisions to
and
make.
more special moves. In the base version, it's maybe 10 minutes per player.
Fantastic.
So you can have a quick game and just play it again right after that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was RoboRama.
Thank you again.
Play This One.
Thank you.